Imagine a truth so vast, so sacred, that it was hidden from humanity for centuries, not stored in religious texts, nor discovered in scientific laboratories. Think about it for a moment. What if the real story of your life, your soul, and this entire universe has been waiting quietly in a mysterious book? A book not written by human hands, nor created by any religious institution, but delivered to us by higher cosmic intelligences of the universe itself. This is not the plot of a fantasy novel or a science fiction story. This is the promise of a book called the Urantia Book. But it's not just a book. It is a divine revelation, a cosmic blueprint, a map that uncovers the depth of our existence, our divine origin, and our role in the grand orchestra of creation. This book doesn't just ask questions. It answers them, questions we've been asking ourselves since the beginning of time. Who am I? Why was I born? What is my final destination? According to the Urantia Book, life is not just a journey from birth to death. It is the evolution of the soul. It tells us that within each one of us burns a divine spark, a fragment of God. It calls this the thought adjuster, a guiding presence that constantly nudges us to rise higher, become more aware, and recognize truth when we see it. And yet, like all profound things, the Urantia Book is surrounded by debate. Some believe it is a true divine publication, a gift from God. Others dismiss it as a clever deception, a product of New Age illusion from the 20th century. But here's the puzzle. If this book is a lie, then how did it accurately describe such deep spiritual and scientific truths long before humanity discovered them? And if it's the truth, why has it been so widely ignored? Today, we begin the journey of discovering what the Urantia Book really is. Where did it come from? How did it emerge? And what secrets does it hold that could possibly redefine our understanding of religion, soul, and the universe? The story begins in 1925, in the city of Chicago, USA. A psychiatrist encounters a most unusual patient. This wasn't just someone struggling with mental illness. This person, in his sleep, began speaking words that were beyond his understanding, words filled with concepts and language not his own. Eventually, a team was formed to begin recording these mysterious transmissions. Over the next 30 years, these messages continued, building slowly, piece by piece. Then in 1955, they were compiled and published under one name, the Urantia Book. The book boldly claims that it was not authored by humans, but was given to us by celestial beings, cosmic personalities who are part of the divine administration of the universe. It's a revelation that claims to explain how the universe was formed, which beings govern it, and what our true place is within it. The Urantia Book is divided into 4 parts. The first part deals with the central universe and the superuniverses. The second explores the formation and administration of our local universe. The third focuses specifically on the spiritual and geographical history of our planet, called Urantia in the book. And the fourth and final part is the most fascinating of all. It reveals the real life and divine teachings of Jesus, including many aspects that are not found in traditional scriptures. Many people believe the knowledge in this book aligns with scientific discoveries that came decades later, details about the universe's structure, energy layers, and dimensions of consciousness. Still, others label it imaginative fiction or a well-crafted spiritual fantasy. But the real question remains, if this book is not real, how could it contain such profound and ahead of its time insights? And if it is real, are we ready to truly understand it? Let's pause and ask the question that lies deep in every human heart. Why am I alive? Was I born simply to survive and die? Or is there a deeper divine mystery behind my existence? The Urantia Book offers a clear and dignified answer. It says life is not a coincidence, not an accident of biology, not a test from God. Instead, it is a divine experiment, a cosmic school, a journey through which the soul is shaped, refined, and eventually united with supreme consciousness. We humans are not just bodies of flesh and bone. Within each of us is a sacred seed, the seed of the soul. But according to the book, the soul does not exist from birth. It is born at the moment a person makes their first moral decision. When we first consciously choose between right and wrong, our soul activates. That choice marks the beginning of our eternal journey. And we are not alone in this path. Within us already lives a divine spark, a thought adjuster, not a metaphor, not imagination, but a literal fragment of God that quietly observes our thoughts, our feelings, and our decisions. And when we choose love, truth, forgiveness, and service, this presence becomes active and begins to lead our soul upward. But the teachings don't stop there. The Urantia book reveals that death is not the end. It is merely a transition. When the physical life ends, the soul enters what the book calls Morantia worlds, intermediate realms where the soul continues to grow. It's a beautiful process. In these worlds, the soul is taught cosmic truths, given opportunities to serve, and ultimately earns the right to stand before the Universal Father, the source of all. And here comes the most mysterious, yet awe-inspiring truth. According to the Urantia book, the soul doesn't just evolve, it participates in building the supreme universal being. In other words, you and I, we are not just giving meaning to our own lives. We are shaping the universe itself. Life isn't just about existing. It's a divine mission, a sacred project where your soul, in collaboration with God, adds to the perfection and beauty of creation. You are not insignificant. You are not a mistake. You are not just surviving. You are a spiritual agent of the universe, sent here like an angel to learn, to love, to grow. And the next time you look in the mirror and wonder, why am I here? Remember, you are here because you are essential. Without you, the universe would be incomplete. This is the heart of the Urantia book, a message not of dogma, but of divine identity. It reminds us that life is not just existence. It is a soul's sacred journey, a journey where we are guided not by external rules, but by the quiet whisper of the thought adjuster within. And this journey leads us to the Universal Father. As we grasp this, a natural question arises: what is humanity's true role in this cosmic plan? Are we just intelligent animals on a random planet? Or are we part of something far more meaningful and grand? That's where we will go next. So now that we've begun to see life as a divine journey, a sacred evolution of the soul guided by the thought adjuster within, the next natural question arises: what role do we humans play in this vast cosmic design? Are we just inhabitants of a small blue planet floating in space? Or is there something much bigger, much deeper, tied to our existence? The Urantia book answers this question not with poetry or metaphor, but with a stunning cosmic revelation. It tells us that Earth, known in the book as Urantia, is one of countless evolving worlds in the universe. We, the human species, are not just intelligent creatures who climbed out of the animal kingdom. We are cosmic children, spiritual infants who are meant to grow slowly into consciousness, into morality, into divinity. But here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. The Urantia book reveals a secret long hidden from our collective memory. Earth is a quarantined planet. That's right, a spiritually isolated world, cut off from other advanced systems of the universe. Why? Because long ago, a divine being named Lucifer, not in the religious sense but as a high-ranking cosmic administrator, led a rebellion. He rejected the Universal Father's divine plan and tried to spread a system of radical independence, detaching from spiritual order. In that rebellion, Earth was swept in. As a result, our planet was spiritually disconnected, its divine circuit sealed, its access to higher cosmic guidance interrupted. And this, the Urantia book says, is why we often feel something missing, a sense of loss, an invisible ache, as if we've been separated from our true home. And yet, hidden within this tragic truth lies a magnificent gift. Even in our separation, humanity was not abandoned. In fact, it was given a rare opportunity to evolve with a fresh and independent consciousness. According to the book, our individual spiritual growth doesn't just impact our lives. It sends ripples across the universe. When even one person chooses love, chooses truth, serves another without expectation, that act energizes a part of the cosmos. It lifts more than just the soul. It uplifts creation itself. Pause for a moment and imagine that. Imagine that your every thought, every emotion, every decision echoes through this vast universe. You're not just living in the universe, you're helping build it. You're a co-creator, not in fantasy but in divine partnership. And that is why the book says humanity matters. We're not here simply to survive. We're here to fulfill a divine purpose, to bring spiritual maturity to the cosmos through our own inner transformation. That is the message of Urantia. We are not small. We are not lost. We are born with cosmic responsibility. And only when we begin to understand this, do we begin the true journey, from mere humans to divine beings. But as we awaken to this role, a painful question stirs in our hearts. If all of this is so divine, so sacred, why is there so much pain in our world? Why so much chaos, suffering, war, injustice, and emotional trauma? How could a loving God allow such a broken reality? The Urantia book faces this question head-on. It doesn't give a sugar-coated answer. Instead, it speaks with piercing clarity. Suffering is not created by God. It is the result of the greatest gift we've been given, free will, the freedom to choose our path. But when this freedom is mixed with ignorance, fear, or selfishness, it leads to darkness, not light. Much of the chaos on earth, the book explains, is still a consequence of Lucifer's rebellion. When the earth was cut off spiritually, humanity began struggling alone. Without divine circuits guiding us openly, we had to search within. That began the inner war, the struggle to find peace in a world that often feels abandoned. But, and this is crucial, pain is not punishment. According to the Urantia book, pain is a teacher, a refiner. Just as iron is forged through fire to become a sword, the soul is strengthened through sorrow. Every heartbreak, every loss, every test, we are not broken by them. We are being shaped by them. If we treat suffering as a wall between us and God, we collapse. But if we see it as a bridge, a channel pulling us closer to the divine, it transforms us. In those dark hours of grief and confusion, we can grow into wisdom, into compassion, into depth. The book insists, behind every pain lies an invitation to rise, not to shrink. And there's something even more profound. The Urantia book says our universe itself is not yet complete. It's still growing, still learning, just like us. It is a living system in motion, and every soul's experience contributes to its evolution. And yes, mistakes will happen. Struggles will arise. But these too are part of the journey toward divine perfection. So next time you feel broken, when life weighs heavy, when your soul aches and your path seems unclear, remember, you are not alone. Within you is the thought adjuster, a sacred spark of the divine that walks with you through every storm. And beyond the pain, beyond the questions, lies a new level of being, a higher state. You just need to keep walking toward truth, toward love. Suffering doesn't destroy us. It rebuilds us. That is its divine secret. And when we truly understand that suffering isn't a curse but a path, we naturally ask, can we rise above this suffering? Can we know how to spiritually evolve? And is there a guiding system to lead the soul from confusion to divine clarity? The Urantia book answers with grace and simplicity. Spiritual growth isn't random. It's intentional. It's not about joining a group or learning rituals. It's about connecting with the truth already inside you. And this journey begins in silence. According to the book, silence isn't the absence of sound. It's the sacred space where your soul communicates with your thought adjuster. Every day, in moments of quiet, not in prayer, not in chanting, but just in being still, you start to hear that inner divine presence. It speaks not in words, but in nudges, in clarity, in deep peace. This is not a mystical illusion. It's the most natural connection available to every human being. When you choose love, when you forgive, when you live truthfully, the thought adjuster begins to lift your soul higher. And here's where it becomes even more extraordinary. This process of soul growth doesn't just affect you. It changes the world around you. As you evolve, your energy, your presence, your consciousness inspire others. Spiritual development becomes not just personal, it becomes a social revolution. Your transformation plants seeds of light around you. Yes, the journey is hard. Every day, choosing truth in a world full of fear and deception is not easy. But that struggle, that daily challenge, is the fire through which your soul is made strong. The Urantia book challenges materialism. It reminds us, we are not just DNA and desires. We are beings formed in the image of the divine, and our goal is not just to live, but to embody divinity. And in this process, we are never alone. The thought adjuster is with us. So are the seraphic guardians, celestial beings who quietly assist us. But that's a revelation we'll explore in the next part. So now you've come to understand the divine presence within the thought adjuster, your personal spark of God. You've walked through the depths of pain and the promise of spiritual evolution. But here's the next profound question. Are we truly walking this path alone? Is the divine journey a quiet, private dialogue between your soul and God? Or is there something more? Someone more? According to the Urantia book, we are not alone. Every awakened soul walks with a divine companion, a living presence called the seraphic guardian. These are not mythical angels from stories. They are real, conscious beings, cosmic personalities appointed to guide and assist us in our spiritual development. They don't control our lives. They don't interfere with our free will, but they do shape the opportunities that arise in our path. Think of that random meeting that changed your life, the book that fell into your hands at just the right moment, the painful event that somehow made you stronger. These are not just coincidences. They are alignments carefully orchestrated by the seraphic forces around us. They don't walk in front of us. They walk beside us, always watching, always waiting for the moment we're ready to rise. And how do they know when to step in? The Urantia book says it happens the moment we choose, from the heart, to live in truth. The moment we say, I want to grow, I want to become more. That's when the seraphic guardian becomes active, not to shield us from pain, but to help us learn from it, not to block the challenges, but to guide us through them with divine purpose. They work behind the scenes of your decisions without ever forcing your hand. Their mission, to help your soul rise to the highest cosmic standards without ever violating your freedom. That's how sacred your will is in the universe. Even divine beings respect it. So imagine for a moment, every step you take, every challenge you face, there is a divine team walking with you, quietly, patiently, endlessly believing in your potential. The Urantia book reminds us, you are never alone. Even in your darkest hours, the universe surrounds you, not with judgment, but with love, guidance, and infinite patience. And when you embrace this truth, when you begin to feel that divine companionship, your spiritual journey takes on new depth. It becomes sacred, intentional. It becomes a form of worship. But what is true worship? Is it chanting words? Following rituals? Visiting sacred places? The Urantia book gives us an image so simple, it can change the way you think about the divine forever. Worship is one wing. Service is the other. Together, they lift the soul. Imagine a bird trying to fly with only one wing. It won't rise no matter how strong. That's the soul without balance. If you only worship, only seek divine connection inside, but don't serve anyone around you, your spirit feels incomplete. And if you only serve, always helping others, but never connecting to God from within, your service may become exhausting, even hollow. True worship, the Urantia book says, is not a demand or a plea. It's not about asking. It's about thanking. It's the silent moment when your soul, in stillness, simply bows in gratitude to the divine. Not for blessings, not for outcomes, just for the beauty of existence. That moment of pure, wordless reverence, that is worship. And service is the action that follows worship. It's what happens when that divine gratitude pours out into the world. When you comfort someone in pain, when you forgive someone who hurt you, when you help, love, and support without expecting anything in return. That's worship made visible. When worship and service move together, like two wings of a soaring bird, the soul finds real flight. You begin to feel what the book calls the fullness of divine purpose. And through it all, your thought adjuster and your seraphic guardian remain by your side, lifting your heart, refining your choices, and connecting your actions to the cosmic energy of love itself. Now, you may ask, if the path is this beautiful, this clear, then why do we struggle to grow? Why do we keep falling back? Why does spiritual progress feel so hard? The answer lies in a hidden enemy, not outside us, but within. The Urantia book calls it by name, the ego. The ego isn't just pride or arrogance. It's the illusion that tells you you are only your body, your status, your possessions, your identity. It convinces you that you're separate from others, that you must compare, that you must compete, that you must defend your image, your worth. This ego, says the book, is the loudest voice in our mind. It is what separates us from the divine. Not sin, not failure, but illusion. The belief that we are something other than a soul on a divine journey. And here's the tough truth. Our world strengthens the ego every day. Society, media, education, they often teach us that success lies outside, that peace is earned, and that identity is external. But the Urantia book reminds us, truth lives within. And the ego can be dissolved, but only when we begin listening to our inner self. When we sit in silence. When we serve with love. When we forgive instead of fight. That's when the ego starts to lose its grip. And in those moments, something powerful happens. The thought adjuster becomes louder. The seraphic guardian moves closer. And you begin to rise to new levels of consciousness, new levels of peace, strength, and wisdom. You begin to realize truth is not something you find. It's something you remember, because it was always within you. And perhaps that's the greatest revelation of all. That the real temple of God is not in stone buildings or sacred rituals. It is within your heart. The path to the divine doesn't require joining any religion, following any guru, or memorizing any prayer. The true path is made of silence, sincerity, and service. It's the quiet moments when you choose love over anger, forgiveness over resentment, truth over fear. The Urantia book doesn't call you to follow. It calls you to awaken, to turn inward, to listen. And when you do, you will feel it. Not in lightning or miracles, but in a deep stillness, a steady peace. Presence that's been with you all along. So the next time you feel lost, pause, breathe, turn inward, because in that silence, something waits, something ancient, something divine. It's the same voice that guided you to ask the question, who am I? And now it gently answers, you are loved, you are divine, you are home. And if your heart, even for a second, felt a flicker of that truth, then your thought adjuster is awake. It's calling you forward. Don't ignore it. This is your invitation, not to believe, but to begin.